Hello, I am Bentham and welcome back to Factorio, and in the previous episode everything went to hell. It all went horribly wrong and we ran out of supplies of everything. So the first thing I decided to do today is to grab a bunch of steel, just as much as I possibly can off the line before it gets sent off onto the science line thing, so that I can try and fix the power problem. Then I have to run over and get some circuits. Turns out that the logistics robots are taking circuits out too fast from that chest, and so I put some extra inserters in to get the circuits moving quickly enough, and that gets them sent into my inventory, and then I can make myself a bunch of solar panels to try and fix the horrible power failures that we're having, thanks to me introducing a turbocharged assembler in the previous episode, making alien artifact science things. So try and get all that sorted. It takes a while for them all to get through and get into my inventory. I steal some off the modules line, and then I hop in my car and make my way over to our little solar field in the middle of the plains, so that I can add those in and hopefully fix the problems that we've been having with power. I stopped running home, and then remember I took my car here, so I can go run back and grab that, because I'm still in a bit of a panicky mood. After everything went horribly wrong in last episode, I came into this thinking I have a lot of stuff to fix today to make things work properly again. So you can see right now I'm looking at advanced circuit production, because at the moment the chest over in the module production is completely shut down, and well, it's completely empty, and nothing's coming through again. So I need to try and fix things over in the science area so that no more is siphoned off of the modules section, because it can't really keep up with it itself. So the problem that we have at the moment is that we're not getting enough copper wires. So what I do is I plonk down an assembler. After it takes me a while to work out how to put it in to make it work, and it ends up having to go on halfway along the line, which isn't the best of situations, but we're just going to have to work with it. So that's going, and that should hopefully improve things there. And I noticed that the copper is not moving as fast as it could be, and one of the reasons is that it's getting to corners and slowing down. So I put in a little fix there, different from the previous fix, which caused the copper to get mixed in with iron and horrible things to happen. So this time it doesn't cause any disasters, but it also helps, so that's good. And then going over to the copper chests, I find that a lot of the chests are emptying between train visits. So I make my way down to the outpost to see if there's anything I can do to increase the rate of loading. So I could put more mining drills in and find some way to shoehorn those in, but at the moment the whole thing's being covered. So and it's all running nicely. And I go over to the iron outpost and find that that's the same as well, though. I think more is being put into the rear cargo container than the forward one at the moment, because of where the splitters are, and I can't be bothered fixing that, and it shouldn't be a problem, I don't think, because things will just back up in one place and then go in the other or something like that, or they should hopefully do, and if they're not, then there's a problem. So anyway, it looks like the iron ore supply is fine at the moment, so what I try and do to fix the iron plate supply is to add in a couple more smelters. I find that there is a little bit of room to shoehorn a couple more things in there, and there's a lot of shoehorning going on nowadays, I've noticed, and it's not a very good thing, really. So anyway, just wandering around seeing how the circuits are, and I'm still not happy with it. It's still a big problem. And looking at science, you can see that actually blue science is running down again after all that work, after 8 assemblers all being fully supplied. It's not enough to keep all the science labs going, because the alien science is now keeping up with things, and all that's good there. So anyway, I go and check oil, because I screwed up with that a couple of episodes ago by not paying any attention to it for the whole episode. And it turns out that plastic production is dead, and that's one of the reasons that advanced circuit production has not been too good. And I find that this is because the coal mines have run out, so I set up a couple more mining drills to keep that going, and that should be fine for now. Plastic should get up to a good rate of production, and hopefully that one chemical plant will be able to keep up with it. And I can always add another one in if I need to. I just don't want to have to, because I don't know, it'll use up a lot more petroleum gas potentially. And it's probably more than we need at the end of the day. You can see things are starting to fill up again, at least in one place, and hopefully once they've backed up fully in that one place, they'll start going into the other place enough to back that up. And I'm paying close attention to how fast it's going, and it's reaching the end a couple of times, so I'll just leave it and see how it goes. So you can see over here that advanced circuits is running down because it's not being brought in from modules anymore, and we never really should have put that fix in the first place. It was a bad idea. So anyway, I looked at the power a bit earlier and found out that one of the reasons we're having the power problem, not just because the it's not just because we've run out of solar, well, we don't have enough solar panels, we also don't have enough accumulators, so we need to add in another square of those as well. And it's weird really, because I put in the 6 squares, and they've been running the thing for so long, and then suddenly in the space of a couple of episodes I've had to put in another 2 squares, just because of like upgrading science, I suppose. I suppose that makes sense really, because at the end of the day the whole purpose of this factory is to make science go faster. So that's, I suppose, what all the power is going into in the first place, apart from like mining and everything. So I have a quick look at power while it's all going and see how it looks there, and it looks like everything's alright, and we'll have to check in the morning to see if everything stayed constant. Anyway, that coal mine there has run out, so it's time to connect that up to the chest as well, and hopefully that burner inserter is quick enough to keep things flowing. If not, I can just put another inserter in there to get things going faster. So anyway, you can see the plastic is now backed up, so that's nice and awesome, and hopefully, I was about to say hopefully that will fix advanced circuits, but looking at the line, there's not enough copper coming through now, and that's a big problem. Because like if it's copper wire or circuits or something, I know what to do about that. Though right now we do have a problem with circuits as well, and I've had to siphon them off the main line, which I am not happy about, because the main line already has enough of a problem with circuits, and that's what and we're taking them out of modules to fix that. So really we need a bigger circuit producing system, but there's just no room for one. We wouldn't be able to connect it up to the line. The snake method has been too much of a problem. If you saw my Factorio tips episode, you'll see why I use this as an example, this factory of the problem. Anyway, you can see that this outpost is entirely done. Finally, this copper outpost has finished all of its work, and so it's time to deconstruct the entire thing. After all this time, it fueled the entire copper supply for so long, but it went past its prime, and now it's finally keeled over and died, and we've had to move on to other places. I got a bit more science done there, so we're on follower robot count 18 now. So we've just got 18, 19, 20, and then rocket defense, and we will be done. So anyway, get all the line deconstructed, and then I try and deconstruct the train. Turns out the inventory is full, so I have to do a bit of reshuffling in there to compress things down and make room to put the train stuff in, and then also the bits of track. And I try and get this last piece of track here that's under a curved belt, and it turns out you actually can't do that, so I just quickly deconstruct the curved track while the train isn't looking and hope that it carries on, and it does, so that's fine for now. And then I make my way back home and quickly have a clear out of my inventory, because it's getting full of all sorts of random crap, like guns and ammo that I don't use anymore, and like individual science packs and bits of complicated technology that I don't really use that often. And also the middle speed belts, which I barely use nowadays. It's just occasionally when I need to build them on site or whatever, and I can't be bothered getting the supply from the main base. So anyway, we get all that pretty much sorted out. It takes us a while to sort of consolidate everything. I noticed that I've got lights on the hotbar and in the inventory, which for no reason. I don't even use lights anymore because I've got my night vision goggles, of course. So there's not really any point in that. But I also sort out my hotbar so that it's all nice and ordered, and I know what I'm doing, and I'm ready to start my next project, because of course the old copper outpost is finished now, so we've got room for a new one, and we won't have to mess about with train schedules to make it work. So I scout up my location, and then off we go, weaving our way through the forest and things to find it. There's a single tree to clear out instead of a whole forest this time, and I can immediately start setting up the mining drills. Though after a second I decided that I'm not going to do it left to right like I always do. I'm going to do it up down, because that makes infinitely more sense, because the train systems, the unloading and loading systems, work infinitely better when you have them on a left to right rather than up to down. So I get all these mining drills set up. We've got 16 of them, 8 on each side of the belt. It's lovely and neat. It's nice to be working on a new system and being able to set it up all really nicely to start with, rather than having to repurpose old, well, not sort of upgrade old things in ways that I never expected them to be upgraded in. So I make more space leading up to the loading area and things like that. And then we start working on putting together all of this, putting the loop in place for the train, getting that all down. Unfortunately, there's trees in the way over here, so I do have to start clearing out trees now, but that's just something you have to deal with this. I mean, I could use deconstruction robots to do it, but I've never really got into those, and I've had a couple of people asking me why I've not been using them yet, and honestly, I really should be, because like these train loops, it's a really basic structure. Well, it's a complicated structure to assemble sometimes. It would be much easier if I could just tell robots to do it, but I just sort of can't be bothered. And also, it's a little bit far away from the main base, and I'd have to hook up the drone system to it and stuff. So I don't know. I'll probably do it in the next series that I do anyway. So here I am hooking up the lines, getting them into place, and there we go. It's connected up, and then I just deconstruct these signals here because I need to rebuild that structure over on here to make sure that the trains over here don't crash into each other. So that's all set up now, and then we can wander back over to the base. So before we go all the way there, we need to set up some more signals on this crossover here, where it crosses over the line of the iron train. We need to do this to make sure that the trains never crash into each other crossing over the cross. And it's unlikely to happen, but over time the synchronization of the two systems will be slightly off because of the longer distances and things like that, and eventually they will probably crash into each other, and that will be a bit of a problem. So we put in the signals to avoid that, and then we start working on the loading system. And I forget for a second to put the chests in, but I remember, and it means that there's not actually as much room as I thought to sort out putting in like a second carriage if we ever do. This is a very large ore deposit, so it is entirely possible that we will be using a double cargo wagon system one day, like we're doing at the moment in iron. Though at the moment that's plagued with problems with them. Neither of them are full, and we need more iron going into them and stuff, but there just isn't enough in the outpost. Well, I don't know. We'll deal with that in the next episode probably. So anyway, you can see I'm getting the power system connected up now, getting all of these pylons all the way over to the new outpost and hooking them up. I've already got the effectivity modules in, so I just need to get them in the power grid, and they're ready to go. Unloading, loading up a bunch of ore, and it's really nice and even because it's 8 on either side, and there's no horrible stuff with having to use splitters and things like that. It's just really simple. They go along the line, they go into the train. It's beautiful. So I hop back in my car and make my way home, because that should all be working fine now, and I've set the train off so it arrives just as I do, and then it unloads, and then off it goes back home again. You can see the trains interacting nicely at the crossing point thing. And I haven't checked whether the crossing over of the copper and iron belts has anything going on with it. I might go wander over there and see if it's being used, and demonstrate to you what it's like to do that. So anyway, back to base to work on stuff there. We've got a bit of more copper in our inventory than we're supposed to, so I just unload some of that. And then we go back to circuits to see how it's going there, and still the problem is that there's not enough copper plates coming through, which is annoying because I've already done some upgrading on the rate of copper smelting. So I try upgrading the belts in case that helps, and it looks like that it does increase a bit, but it's supplying it's supplying one of the assemblers for circuits anyway, and maybe it's helping supply the other one. We'll just leave it and see how it goes. You can see at the moment that all the advanced circuit assemblers over on module production are entirely dead, because we're not getting enough copper through for there to be enough copper wire that it's not all being turned into electronic circuits and being taken over to the main line. So that's a bit of a problem, and I wonder if module production will ever be the same again, because we're getting close to the end now, and also everything's getting a bit too big, and science production has been overclocked so much that I think sort of the damage that I've done to module production is too much, and it's going to be with it forever now, because the main system can't live without stealing all the circuit production from modules nowadays. So I suppose it's a good job that module production was finished when it got to that. But still, it's a problem, and sometimes, well, actually, we need a huge amount of module production for the very end when we're building the rocket defense. So I went and looked at what the requirements are, and it's quite bad. So anyway, back over to trains, and I'm finding that all the chests are emptying between train visits. So we've got a big problem with iron again that we're going to have to try and fix. But we don't have enough time for that in this episode, so that'll have to be what we do for the majority probably of next episode. Anyway, I've gone over to this old outpost, and just like with the copper outpost, this old ancient, really, this outpost here, it used to be the biggest iron outpost and supplied us with so much, but just like with the copper one, it's died now, and it's just empty. It's just an empty patch of ground. So it's time to deconstruct the whole thing, take out the walls, the guns, the power lines, and leave no trace that it was ever there. It's sort of sad, really, though that thing's been a pain for a very long time now because of all the because it's barely been producing anything, and it's been taking up a like sort of a slot with the trains, the train schedule, so we can't put another outpost on without having a bit of trouble like before. I mean, it's not as bad as I say, but anyway, it's the end now, so I shall say goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.